I'm seeing a lot of buzz on CrewAI, so I was curious, what is the difference?
Yeah, the two big ones right now seem to be CrewAI and AutoGen.
So let's think about what happened in general life. So we have a task to solve, and we can different kind of experts, and these experts are able to collaborate together. If you think about these experts as the agent, you can understand the collaboration between every one of them in order to achieve a specific solution. How is an agent made of? Regardless the framework, you have to think about different kind of components for creating an agent. The first one is the most important one, which is the LLM. An important component is the planner. The memory can be long or short. And last but not the least, there are tools.
So can you talk a little bit more about memory?
Hi, Vijay. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
It's
Welcome
great.
back. Oh my God, look at your background. It's all,
Yeah, it's blue.
it looks like a gaming console as well as a gaming studio, something like. Or you are also a guitarist, right? At a music.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it perfectly looks like a music studio as well.
Correct. It's the mood of
Mood
the
of the night. Okay.
yeah.
How you have been?
Oh, very good. I want to congratulate you for the you have awarded for the prize that you got last
Oh,
week.
thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, 6 o'clock. We'll get started exactly on time. 6:01 actually. So let me thank you everyone for joining. Let others also join in, and we'll just get started. By the way, I'm Ujjal Bhattacharjee. I'm based out of New Jersey. I work in the financial industry and over 20 plus years in the IT industry. Started this meetup group since I was working in a generative AI project last year. So I wanted to see like what other people are doing and also get an opportunity to make some good friends. And I made friendship with Luca. So this is our 21st episode. So from December till now. So today is the 21st episode. And also today is my birthday. So what a great present, Luca. Thank you for showing up in my birthday. I'll just quickly share my screen and kickstart the discussion and then hand it all over to you, Luca. Agenda is like we just do a quick round of introduction, disclaimer, participant housekeeping, etc. Disclaimer is this meetup is my own personal initiative, nothing to do with my employer position, strategies, or opinion. This session is being recorded and photographed, so it will be shared in social media. So I shared this in my YouTube channel called Curious Circuits and also in LinkedIn and other places for others to benefit from the discussion. So if you're concerned about appearing or talking, so please be aware of that. But we still want you to talk and participate, so that it can be more collaborative discussion. Please do not share any confidential or IPs because again, like this is being shared in the social media. Microphone, camera is optional. Microphone, we ask participants to be on mute, but feel free to talk. It's a smaller group as well. So we have to figure out the balance ourselves. And let me admit other people real quick. This is how you can connect with Luca through LinkedIn as well as myself through LinkedIn. And so quick introduction about Luca. I think there are more people waiting. Let me double check. I think it's good. Okay. So Luca is from Spain. So you have joined from Spain in the night. Huh?
From Italy.
Oh, from Italy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry. That's why. Okay. So let me do the correction over here. Oh my God. See? Okay. I thought that's why I said Ian is from Italy and Luca is from Spain. So I have two places to go. Okay. Now I'll go to Italy. Okay. Good. Sorry, Luca. So a tech enthusiast with over 23 years of experience. You're working in a startup right now as a tech leader, architecture, as well as backend coding. You are passionate about programming, sports, music. You're a music producer, guitarist, and newbie Spartan racer. I think now you're no more newbie, right? So this was like 3 months back. You were a newbie. Now you're
starting from last year, so
yeah.
it's newbie for the standard.
Okay, awesome. So I think that's pretty much it. We'll do a quick round of audience intro, and then we'll go to the topic of the day. So a quick one-liner. Who are you? What interests you in this particular field of technology? So I'll start with David. You are in first in my list.
You mean me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm David Camion. I'm the CEO and founder of Mind Alliance Systems. We build an AI-powered research platform that helps create custom intelligence reports used in sales and business development, initially for large law firms. Now we're expanding into using intelligence to support investment decision making. Very excited to be here. Happy to connect. I'm based in New Jersey. My team is, yes, I'm in Livingston, New Jersey, and my team is in mainly Greece and India. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. I'll quickly go to Ivan.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Ivan Fioravanti. I'm the CTO and co-founder of CrewAI. This is a company based in Italy. I'm a friend of Luca since a long time ago, and we are working together on LLM, generative AI, anything that is AI related.
Awesome. Stuart.
Hi, everybody. Stuart Hunter, most recently with Kyndryl. I was working on their pilot for Microsoft Copilot when the company adopted that last year. I've been working with CrewAI since basically day one when it first came out, and I've been playing with it ever since. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Rajiv. Rajiv, you are on mute.
Yeah, hi, Ujjwal. So, yeah, this is Rajiv Gautam. So right now, like I'm working with Comcast as a senior manager, but I am joining this group to learn about generative AI and then all LLM related stuff. But yeah, side by side, I am just exploring in that area.
Awesome. Umang.
Hi, everybody. Umang Gupta here. I'm working with Liberty Mutual Investments out here in New York. Basically, I'm responsible for asset allocation for the general account of the Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, and I'm interested in learning about AI and its applications in the areas of finance.
Beautiful. Have you?
Hello, I'm a web developer and databases. I'm just curious about the new AI.
Awesome. Very good. And at the last but not the least, I have D. I do not know your full name. Okay, I think we'll get started. Hi, Manoj. Let Manoj join me. But we'll get started. Luca, let's get started. We do not want to waste any more time. So thank you, everyone, for the introduction. Luca, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Can I share my screen?
You should have the ability to share your screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's say we are going into an overview of, let's say, what collaborative agents are, an overview of available frameworks for, let's say, building an agent, or maybe building different kind of agents that collaborate together, and in particular on CrewAI framework, let's say, is the main topic of this evening. So first, I want to, let's say, put a focus on the scenario, the use case, in order to understand where and when the agents are involved in the process. So let's think about what happened in general life. So we have a task to solve, and we have a solution. You aim to reach a solution, and for doing that, we can have different kind of experts, and these experts are able to collaborate together. For example, because no one knows everything, so you have to collaborate with different kind of person in real life, the expert of the topic A, the expert of topic B, and together, let's say, thanks to their collaboration, is it possible to achieve the solution. If you think about these experts as the agents, you can understand let's say the collaboration between every one of them, in order to achieve a specific solution. So this is the idea, just to have an overview where and when the agent are involved in a specific process. This is an idea of how is an agent made of. So the question is, how is an agent made of? Based on, or maybe regardless the framework, it's not important the framework, you have to think about different kind of components for creating an agent. The first one is the most important one, which is the LLM. So the model that you want to use, you can use an open module or an open LLM or a proprietary LLM like OpenAI. And this is the core of an agent. But an important component is the planner, because the planner is a very important component because helps the agent, or maybe helps the LLM, to, let's say, break down the necessary steps or subtasks in order to reason better about the problem. So we can think about the planner as the prompt. So, for example, I think that everyone knows about the chain of thoughts, the tree of thoughts. Every prompt, the best pattern prompt for instructing the LLM to understand how to interact with different kind of tools or which kind of action the LLM has to take for, let's say, achieve a specific goal. Then we have the memory. The memory can be long or short depending on what you want, what you need. So short or maybe long is when you want to store everything in all the life of the agent. For example, you want to store every interaction that the agent had in the past, and using this interaction, using this information, you can provide different kind of behaviors during the lifetime of the agent. And the short memory is useful, for example, when you want to understand or when you want to manage the behavior of the agent for a single execution. Because sometimes when we talk about collaborative agents, sometimes you have to maybe you can have different kind of behavior based on the interaction between an agent and based on what happened before. So it's the short memory, and it dies after the execution of the collaboration between the agents. And last but not the least, there are tools. Tools are very important because can be provided by, for example, the framework that you want to use because they are already built, or you can create a custom one. And for example, for searching online, you can use different kind of external services. You can call your APIs, for example, or do something else. So basically are the tools for providing specific action. And it's important because thanks to the tools, we can give the capability to the agent to go outside, so go, let's say, on internet, basically, or taking different information that the LLM doesn't have, because based on the information that the LLM has, it doesn't have everything. So especially custom information that your business has, basically. But the most important question is, how can we build an agent? So there are a lot of frameworks, obviously. There are a lot of frameworks, but for the topic of this evening, we are focusing on CrewAI. Just a little disclaimer, I'm not associated with CrewAI, so I have no interest in saying that one is better than another. My feedbacks are only based on my experience. And the reason is that based on my experience, let's say, using CrewAI, it's a very easy way to create something from scratch in a very little time. And the reasons are shown in this slide. So it's very easy to use. It has a low learning curve because it's very super fast to understand. And it's possible to create something from scratch because even how they created the framework, they provided very easy information for creating from scratch something. And we are going to see in the demo that I prepared for this event. This is the CrewAI Flow that I got from their documentation. So basically, compared with the flow that we have seen before, basically we have the same components. So we have the different kind of agents. We have the tools for each agent. We have the process that is, let's say, the planner. What we have seen before is the planner. The process is the same, is the component that we can call also planner, because thanks to the process, we can understand which kind of agent we have to involve into our process for creating something, for doing something. And CrewAI has a specific component called a task. Let's say that task is something like, let me find a way for saying, it's like something like a specific assignment. So it's provide all necessary information and details for the execution. And the cool stuff is that you can use the tool associated to the agent, and we will see in the demo, or you can use a tool associated to the task. And that, I think that is a very interesting approach, because when you assign a tool to the task, basically you are specifying the tool that the task has to use. And when you assign the tool to the agent, let's say you share, or maybe you got the ability to decide the tool based on the intelligence of the LLM associated to the agent. So this is a very interesting approach, because sometimes you know that a specific task has to use a specific tool. You don't want to involve the LLM into the decision of the tool that we have to use. And in the first scenario where you assign the tool to the agent, basically you demand the tool to the LLM. And in the demo, we'll see that the tool will be associated to the agent, because I wanted to test how the LLM is able to decide to choose the specific tool in the flow. So this is what I found from the official documentation. And in terms of dictionary, they use this funny and clear word. This is crew. That is something like, I compared it something like the glue that holds all the agent together. We have a team. We can call also a team or a crew, a lot of people that works together. Mm-hmm. And I have a demo for that, because 1 month ago I
have a question before you move on. So just to recap what you mentioned, I was taking some notes. So basically, this whole agent concept came up because we need to do more than what an LLM can provide. So LLM is trained with a certain set of data, but I need more than that. And example of more than that, maybe like you will have some example in the future later part, but there might be several examples where I need to do more than what an LLM can do. So that's why we need an agent. And within an agent, we have, of course, an LLM, a planner, a memory, long memory and short memory, as well as tools. And then the tools can do a bunch of search online and all those things. So can you talk a little bit more about memory, like long and short?
Yeah.
In memory, is it like storing somewhere in a hard drive or something like that? Like, where is this memory?
Yeah, depending on the framework that you want to choose. So for example, CrewAI has a specific, they added a memory maybe 1 month ago, 1 month and a half ago, and you can decide which kind of memory, and the memory is stored on your machine if you want to store on your machine in a specific place. Or you can create, for example, I was thinking a couple of weeks ago to create even a tools that use it as a memory if you don't want to, if you have a specific requirement for storing information. Okay. And if you want to choose which kind of memory you want to store is based on your need.
Okay. So basically, typically it's in memory, but if possible, if required, I can put it in a file system. Or
yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Or maybe like you're thinking that I'll use a tool to make an API call to fetch the memory, something.
Correct.
Like that.
Yes. Okay. In particular scenario, it was just a thought, but because I wanted to test different kind of approaches, but depending on your need, I think that starting with the base capability provided by framework is a good starting point for, let's say, put your hand dirty on the code, understanding how it works. but considering different kind of, or maybe more complex scenario, you can use different kind of approaches. Even
How do you differentiate between long-term memory and short-term memory?
Yeah. The long memory is, even this, depending on the framework, I'm talking about CrewAI, long memory is something that you can store based on the entire life of the agent. So think about something that an agent that you want to use every day. So you run, and all the information are stored inside an agent. And if you provide a specific planner, or maybe very vertical planner, based on the information that you have stored in your long memory, you can achieve different kind of behavior or maybe you can use the memory to create an agent more intelligent and maybe more profiled, for example, to your behavior. If you think about, for example, if you want to store, maybe depending on the scenario, but if you want to store the information profiling a user, for example, and it's something that I was thinking to add in the demo that I will show in the future. But the idea is that considering that this agent can understand your how to say, your usual
use cases and all.
Correct. The use cases, and thanks to that, it can decide a different kind of behavior in the future. So today you have stored, I don't know, some information about your health profile, for example, and during the lifetime of the agent, this kind of information can be treated differently from the LLM because it knows better you, so it can understand your patterns, for example, something like that.
Yeah, and the short term is like for the transaction. So during that transaction, maybe it can be like multiple transaction, but during that session, I would say.
Correct. So thinking about the previous this chart, so the idea is that the short is from the task to solve to the
A to B to C. So that is one session, and then so that is the short term memory.
The short memory. I think that considering the specific need, I think that there is no good or bad. So depending on what you need.
All based on the use cases.
Yeah.
So sorry to stop you from your flow of thought, but please.
No, don't worry. Good, great question, because it's very important to understand even this kind of approaches. Yeah, very good.
Okay, so let's move to the next one. So can you go back to one more slide?
This one.
So this one you are showing now. In this particular process, I have multiple agents to complete a process.
Correct.
And then what are tasks? Like how are tasks different from agent?
Okay, the tasks are basically, I think that the clear answer is when we will see the code, but just to understand, to give you an overview, is that an agent is an expert of something, and using task, you specify the assignment to the agent. So you say, the agent, for example, can be an expert of, I don't know, a music expert, for example. But what does it mean, music expert, for an agent? You can translate or maybe specify details for execution of the goal that the agent can achieve.
Perfect. Okay.
So it's something like the instruction, more detailed instruction for the agent. And we will see, especially in the code, the idea is that the agent, so the task is not, or maybe the agent is associated to the task. So when you have a different kind of task and you can assign the same task to different agents because, for example, you have the same task, but the same task can be used by different kind of agents. So
same task can be used by different kind of agents. Or is it like, let me understand this a little better. So basically what I understood is I have this process, and in order for me to complete the process, I need to break it down into smaller tasks. And to complete one task, I can use one or more agents.
You have explained it better than me. Yeah.
I'm just putting it. Yeah, if you are speaking in Italian, maybe like it will be much quicker for you guys. That's
good.
Correct.
This is the role of the task, basically.
Correct. Okay, got it. Okay. Mm.
And together they produce an outcome.
Yeah. Perfect.
So this is okay. So talking about I think that this demo can explain in detail what we explained before. So the idea is that a couple of 1 month ago, I published this kind of project. It's an open source project on GitHub because I wanted to put my hands dirty on CrewAI to understand how it was possible to create something from scratch. So the idea is that there is a crew called Spotify Crew, and this crew is composed by different kind of agents. And the agent is in blue. So there is a text analyzer for music selection, because the scenario is every morning I want a different kind of playlist on Spotify. So I want to write a sentence or my mood or something like that. And using this sentence and using a crew for understanding this sentence, my crew is able to create a playlist on my account on Spotify. And for doing that, let's say there is a best practice, or maybe I say best practice because it's not the design pattern, but it's best practice. The idea is that you have different kind of agents, and every agent is specialized on something. So there is a text analyzer for music selection. So is able to understand in the text that I provide which kind of music I want into my playlist. And the task is analyze text. So text analyzer is the CrewAI, is the agent. And for doing that, what is the main goal? What is the task for achieving that? You have to analyze the text. And inside the analyze the text, I use a specific tool, which is the LLM. So I don't need anything else because LLM is able to understand the text that I provided.
Mm-hmm.
The result is passed to the music curator. So the music curator is an agent, and the task of the music curator is search songs.
Mm.
So search songs, how to do that? For searching song, I have to use a search online tool, which is in this case is a SERP API service. It's an online service for searching something. What the agent before has analyzed from my text. The result is passed by to an expert of Spotify API. And for doing that, there are two different kind of tasks. Search Spotify song URIs, because from the music curator, I have the name of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
But for saving these songs into my playlist, I have to use a specific API provided by Spotify. And for doing that, let's say the format for creating that is provided by the LLM itself, using the result of the API from Spotify. So there are two different kind of API, the search song URI, because URI is a specific format provided by Spotify, and another API, which is create playlist inside Spotify. And this is the Spotify API expert.
Question. Question is, when you say create playlist, so basically this task is now making an API call to create a playlist?
The create a playlist is the task. So the idea is that you are a Spotify expert. You have this kind of task. And for create the playlist, you have, because this is a generic expert. So how to define which kind of action the expert has to take for doing something. In this case, I can say you are a Spotify expert, but your expertise is specific on search Spotify song and create playlist.
Okay. So the agent, Blue is the agent, and the tools are within the agent, right?
Yes.
Tools are within the agent.
Correct.
Now, what is the tool doing and what is the task doing? I'm a little lost on the task and the tool.
Yep. So the idea is that, let me think about an example. So maybe considering an expert, let's think about the expert of Spotify API. So it's something like you are an expert of Spotify API, and your expertise is based on search Spotify song worries and create a playlist. These are the tasks that you are an expert.
Perfect. So is the task, so suppose I have to make some API calls to Spotify APIs, right? So who is
Correct.
going to do that API? So creating a playlist is basically, to me, I need to make an API call to Spotify to create
Correct.
a playlist. So is the task responsible for making that API call, or is
Correct.
the tools within the agent? In the agent, you mentioned like there is a planner and a tool which is making an API call. So that's where I'm a little lost. Maybe when we look at the code, it will be more clear. But that's where I'm a little lost on the task versus the tool.
Let's say I want to explain in a different way. Considering that you are an expert, the same scenario that we have. So you are an expert of the API and you have two different kind of tool. So the search for song Yuri, or maybe focusing on the create a playlist. So you have a create playlist. This is a custom tool because no one have already provided a tool for creating a playlist of Spotify. So I created this tool called Create Playlist.
Okay. So, okay, perfect. So my question is, how is the tool create playlist different from the task create playlist?
Because create playlist is the action, let's say the hammer, for example, for like a tool, but the create playlist explain how to use and when to use this tool. So it's a detailed task, detailed information for using the tool.
Very interesting. Okay, I'll wait for the code. No, like
I think that taking a look to the code is easier than explain because at the beginning I had the same, let's say, I had the same question.
Question, right? Okay.
Because it's not so easy to, let's say, think about in this way. But when you take a look to the code, it's easier than explaining the concept by.
Okay.
But the idea is that maybe we can say in this way: you have an hammer, and it's a tool. And you have how to use the hammer, which is the task.
I see. Okay.
So this is the difference. Maybe it's just to have an idea of the difference.
That's a very good way of looking at it. Let's move on, and then maybe you will be able to explain more.
And so I think that the best part is taking a look to the code, so we can see what's happened. So let me share with you.
No, but this one is also very good because this gave me or the whole group a view of what we are trying to build, and then you are going to the code now. It's
sure, very good. And if you want to, it's open. So I created this QR code because I know that easier if you are watching the video. You can find here or in the tenure. If you give me a star, I appreciate it because it's very funny having a star on GitHub. Let's start with Visual Studio. Is the most important one. So the idea is that thinking about what we have seen before. So starting, this is a template provided also from CrewAI for starting, for having a good separation of code between task, crew, and agent. So the idea is that you have your crew and it's a folder, so Spotify playlist. You have a folder with tools. In this way, in this case, we have the search tool for a SERP API and Spotify tools for interacting with the API. And starting from the agent, I want to share with you how an agent is created. So we have a list of all the agents that I mentioned before. Just to give, I want to take one, the API expert, just to focus on the scenario that you mentioned before. So this is the API expert. So this is the agent. So in the agent, we have to provide the role, in this case, a Spotify expert. We have to provide the backstory, something like the curriculum of the agent. So it's an expert of something. In this case, this is a description that I put for the backstory of the agent. The goal of the agent is just a goal in terms of high level. I defined which kind of goal the agent has to achieve, the tools provided to the agent, and other information that are particular, but it's not important for this demo. But the idea is that you can delegate other agent to to do something that this agent is not able to do, but it's
So like a multi-agent.
correct. In this case, we have different kind of agent that interacts in a sequential way. So they are not in hierarchical way, which is another way to interact between different kind of agent. The good part is that I associated the tools to this agent because this is an expert of something, but of what? It can use different kind of tools based on the request that received by the previous agent. And the idea is that this is the agent, these are the tools, and we have the task where we provide the specific information in a more detailed way for doing something. So the idea is that in the crew, we will see later, I associate the task to the API, Spotify API expert for, let's say, having a better information or having a better detailed information how to achieve that task. So when he wants to create a Spotify playlist, there are a lot of information that I can set up to the task for the agent. For example, the part related the access token that he receives inside the tool or the name of the playlist is something that I can put inside the task because it's where I can add more information for achieving that goal. So this is the difference.
Okay.
And talking about, so this is the agent. So these are the agents. These are the tasks. And then we have the tools. The good part of the tools is that, for example, for the creation of the agent, for the creation of the playlist, we have this kind of attribute or maybe the placeholder provided by LangChain that is in this way you can create your custom tool, and thanks to the function calling using this kind of attribute you can pass all the information, or maybe the LLM is able to pass the information automatically without setting the information manually. So this is amazing for me. So it's something like that you define your tool, you define the parameters that this function has to receive, and the result is that when the agent or maybe when the task is executed, he knows that based on the description that I made and the information about the parameters, is able to invoke the tool that I provide to the agent, passing automatically the parameter in the function. And this is something like magic. We will see in the demo when I run the code, but the idea is that you have an agent, you have the tools. As you can see, I didn't specify the parameter. I just say, okay, you have this kind of tools. Obviously, in Visual Studio, I see that this function, this tool, has the song titles as parameter, but I didn't specify because during the execution, the LLM, thanks to this kind of placeholder, this kind of attribute provided by it, works as a function calling. So you receive this information, these parameters automatically.
Okay.
And I think this is something very amazing because it's another approach.
The string that you're passing, where is the string stored?
The string is created by the LLM during the execution.
So the song's URL?
Yes, yes. So the idea is that...
I mean, like, how do I get the list of URLs? Is it like something that the LLM is figuring out, or I manage it somewhere?
No, the list is passed by... So the idea is that when you analyze the text, so the fact is that I want to pass this script. Correct. So the analyzed text, thanks to the LLM, extract the kind of music that I want.
Like the intent. So you're extracting the intent out of the script.
Correct. The intent is passed by the music curator, which, based on the intent, is able to go online using SERP API going online, extract all the list of the song.
Oh, okay.
And this list of the song is provided to the API expert, Spotify API expert.
So basically, you're making an API call to do the search.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the difference.
That's interesting. Where are you doing that search? Can you show that? Where are you?
The execution, you mean?
No, the search part. Like when you
yes, the search
retrieve the intent, after that, how are you doing the search?
Okay. This is the search. But as you can see, the search on internet is a parameter that is created by the LLM. So it's not that I hard coded. So the idea is that if you look to the task or maybe to the agent called expert music curator as tool, I set the tool, the search internet, which is a function that receives the query, but the query or maybe the parameter is provided by the LLM itself. So I didn't hard coded the information because it's something that happens during the execution, based on the prompt that I provide in the agent and in the task.
Okay.
It's something like amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to show you the last part. This is the crew. So when you have created all the agents, when you have defined all the task, and as you can see, every task as parameter as the specific agent that I want to assign to that task. And at the end, I have my crew with all the agent, all the task. And this is the only command that I have to run for starting the
kick off the crew. Okay.
Kick off the crew. And all the magic happens behind the scene.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I want to execute this one. So demo effect. Let me share also that one. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now I have this page. So obviously I have to log into my app for getting the token, the access token. And the idea is based on the prompt that I want to share with the app and based on the model that I want to use. And there are other capabilities that I'm going to add in my spike time. So the idea is that I want to choose the GPT-4o, the last one, and I run let's start. So we can see the reasoning, all the reasoning that behind the scene happens for the crew. So as you can see, the first agent is the expert text analyzer. So it extracted all the information from the text that I provided. And this is the prompt that I set up in the task. I set it up. And the result is this one. Let me check. Okay, the result is 80s pop music dance playlist cheerful songs.
Okay.
Based on that, the second agent, which is in charge to search the song, decided to call the SERP API with this kind of query.
Question. What is this one? What is this? No, hold on. So what is this SERP API?
Okay. SERP API is a service, an external service for searching online through the API. So you can use the service as an API. So let me share with you.
It's like provided by Spotify, is it?
I think that provided by Google.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think it's provided by Google. You can create an account and you can invoke for searching online using the service as an API. So this is a custom tool that I created, but I know that on LangChain they already provided a tool for SERP API, but I decided to create it from myself just for understanding how it works.
Okay.
The second part is I search for all the music and I retrieve, apart from some error, but the crew is able to manage the error and retry the search. And at the end, I receive all of these information, which are the songs that I found online. This is the second agent. The third agent is able to get the songs retrieved from the previous agent, and using the API of Spotify is able to find, as you can see, the unique, let's say something like an ID on Spotify related to that song. And using that song, or maybe using these URIs, the next agent is able to get all the URIs and creating the playlist, calling the API for creating the playlist provided by Spotify. So this is the last agent with the last tools. And at the end, if everything went well, okay, the final answer is the ID of the playlist. But if I open my account, this is what we have done right now. So it's the playlist with all the songs that he found online. Any question?
I have a very extremely dumb question. I know, like, we are talking about generative AI, LLMs, and all those things. My question is, of course, the rest. So you sent a text.
Yeah, correct.
Send a text. I need to identify the intent. Now, if I identify the intent, and so definitely I need an LLM to identify the intent and convert that intent into that URI parameters, right?
Correct.
The query parameter, the search. So that part is definitely an LLM involvement. But everything after that, do I need an LLM, or is it just an orchestration to?
Great question. Yes, you need an API. You need an LLM because I want to share the code. Maybe I missed it previously, but every agent has a parameter, or maybe has a property called LLM.
Yes, that's what I did not understand. Because if I'm making an API call to search, or if I'm making an API call to create a playlist, or if I'm making an API call to do whatever the third thing that you were doing, those are simple API calls that I could have done in any Python or Java code. Why do I need an LLM for that?
Because the LLM, the cool part is that if you want to, let's say, call just to share the tool, because it's a very simple tool. If you want to call the creative AI, you can do, as you said before, with a simple command in Python. But you have to manage, or maybe you have to add different kind of if then for understanding the information that you receive, because let's say the standard way that we are used to create a program is focusing on specific type of the parameter. So you receive an information, the information is a list of something, you have to manage the information, understanding which kind of...
The whole data mapping, everything,
correct.
In that API call.
Correct.
So there is like, now I have to create a client, I have to assign the access token, all those things. You just put it in that string and I'm pretty much done. That's
yes. And the magic is provided by this, because this attribute, or maybe this placeholder, is a way to use a function as a tool. And thanks to the LLM is able to understand, thanks to this parameter, this attribute, is able to understand how to pass this information, and you don't have to hard code them. So it's something that happens automatically. This is the result. And the idea is
so basically, does that mean that even if I don't have this free-form text where I have to identify the intent, right?
Yeah.
So suppose, forget about that identification of the intent part. Suppose you hard-coded that URL, the query parameter, like each song. But the rest of the things also, I'm using the advantage of LLM to do that API call orchestration. So that changes our whole paradigm shift of making orchestration of API calls.
I think that, and I put a slide in one slide in the presentation. I strongly suggest, because which is the creator of CrewAI, provided a course a couple of weeks ago on
I have seen that. Yeah.
And he explained very well this concept because he explained the paradigm shift from the old kind of programmatically way we are used to program a code compared with the new approach, which is different compared to the old one. And this is very useful to understand this kind of, I want to say paradigm shift, because it's a very paradigm shift in terms of programming.
I think that is the reason, like everyone was talking about CrewAI for the last 1 month. And when I reached out to you and you said, yeah, CrewAI, do that.
Yeah.
So now I understand, like, where is that excitement about? Because I did not get time to go through all these things. But thanks for taking the time out to explain.
Yeah, but you can see everything online. So if you want to put your hands on the code, you can understand let's say, how it easy to do this compared to other framework. Because I think that using CrewAI, as I said before, this is my experience, but this kind of approach is easier than other frameworks. So it's how to approach in this kind of different way to coding solution.
Yeah, when I was like last year, when I was very close to the code, I remember like LangChain also has something like an agent where we can make API calls.
Yeah.
How is it different?
I think that there are no differences in terms of, or maybe it's all about the approach and the languages, or maybe the way that you have to create. But behind the scene, they work in the same manner. There are no differences. And I want to. Can you see my browser right now?
No, we are still seeing the.
Okay, let me share this one because
now it's the PowerPoint.
Okay, let me. No, this one. No.
I can see the deeplearning.ai.
Okay, now.
Still the learn. Now I can see your browser. Yep.
Okay, so these are other frameworks because there is not only CrewAI. So there is LangChain, as you mentioned before. And the difference is that there are different kinds of syntax for creating agents. It's another good framework for my experience. I think that if you want to create something very super fast, even a POC or something that you
when we started the call, so he mentioned there is some power outage issue that is going on over there, so he might get disconnected. I think that's what happened. So he got disconnected, but I think we are already at time. So it was a fantastic discussion all over the place. And Stuart, I'm following your comments as well. Yeah, it was a good discussion. What do you guys say? Like, anyone has any comments or anything that you want to share?
I tell you, the only downside from my point of view with CrewAI is not its functionality. It's that it's in flux. They bring out a new version every few days. Joe is very busy keeping it up to date. And I follow him on Twitter or X, if you want to call it.
Me too, yeah.
And he's up late at night, banging away at the code and producing a new one. And the only problem being, because he's updating it so quickly, the documentation doesn't always keep up with what he's changing. But it's good that it's an active development, everything he's doing. He takes on board all the comments we make on the Discord. It's very good that he's so motivated.
Amazing. And I also saw AWS also came up with their own agents. So in the AWS Bedrock framework or the platform that they also have some agents. I do not know what kind of agents are they using, whether it's a LangChain agent or CrewAI. But I'm seeing a lot of buzz on CrewAI. So I was curious, what is the difference? So it seems like there are some differences. We lost Luca because of the outage, most likely. Maybe we'll follow up and see what's going on.
Yeah, the two big ones right now seem to be CrewAI and AutoGen. I don't know if you've done a presentation on that. That's worth looking at too. They're both very different, but obviously there can only be so much of a difference. They're both attempting to do the same kind of thing. The approaches are different, and I think CrewAI is definitely the better technology. That's a personal preference for me. Sure. Deep Learning have just brought out their agentic course for AutoGen.
AutoGen also? Okay.
Yeah, it only came out, I think, yesterday. It's not as in-depth as the deep learning course for CrewAI, and there's no certificate at the end of it. But they have so that's worth a look as well. Having a look at the AutoGen course.
It's so difficult to even catch up with what's going on.
It is, yeah, very much.
That is the purpose of this meetup, to like connect and brainstorm and learn from each other. And maybe Stuart, if you're experimenting with AutoGen and you're seeing the comparison, maybe you can do a presentation. We can connect on LinkedIn and
Sure.
then brainstorm together. How about that? Okay, awesome. I think that's pretty much it for CrewAI and agentic framework. Thanks for all the participation. Thanks, Stuart, for all the commentary. Let's be connected on LinkedIn and let's learn together. And please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Curious Circuit. I posted the link, and also like we can connect on LinkedIn as well. So that being said, I'll wrap up today. Thank you so much, everyone, for participation. Take care. Bye-bye. See you. Good night.